Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of these crazy fools that just keep on talking about eating meat and more meat and don't talk about anything but eating meat. Well, today we're going to talk about a little bit more than just eating meat. Justin, why don't you tell us about some of the little changes you've been making around your life?
Yeah, so I don't know if you guys can see in the camera or not, but my hair is gelled, trying to add a little bit of more sex appeal to the channel, something for the ladies. Emily's not here tonight, so someone's got to bring up the aesthetic and the sex appeal on the video, So why not let it be me? Um, but the real reason why is just kind of like it's kind of celebratory. So when I was younger, like any teenager, your looks are like the most important thing in the world. And so I'd go get a haircut and I'd spend like $17 on gel, ice spiker, and like every morning I would after my shower, I would spike my hair and even blow dry it and really spend like 40 minutes on my hair like every morning and be late to school because of like just getting my hair the way I wanted it. Yeah,
Wow.
sounds super ridiculous.
I
And
didn't realize it
then
was that bad.
I um you know I grew up like everyone else does. I did have my hair long for a long time as well. You know, um, I grew it out to be cool for another kind of aesthetic. But then when the migraines hit, um, like having long hair started to become like a pain, like putting it in a ponytail. I
So you're
felt a lot of
spiking long hair?
no, this is so I stopped spiking, went to long hair.
Hmm.
Although I did do Liberty spikes like once or twice. I wish I had pictures. Um, but then I cut my hair for work and then I tried to spike it again, but just like the smell of gel and the feeling of it being tight really bugged my head once I started getting migraines. And so I kind of have just kept my hair natural for quite a while now. Um, and so, I'm kind of thinking about, spiking it at least every once in a while. I don't think it's going to be like an every morning thing or anything like that. But the fact that I can have it like this and not have like a raging headache, by the end of the day, or the smell doesn't instantly trigger a migraine is really cool. Like that's a real change. That's the quality of life we always talk about, you know. Because being in chronic pain, dealing with an illness, whether it be mental illness or physical illness, it really hampers your quality of life. Like for you, Tom, being able to lift and then your arthritis being so bad that you can't open a door. I mean, that's your quality of life, I'm sure at that point was so low. And then if you weren't struggling with mental illness, well, trying to live life that way and not being able to do the things that you enjoy because you're in pain, that will put you in a state of mental illness. What do you think, Tom?
Yeah, well, I think you're right. I mean, the less active you are, or the more bedridden, house ridden, or debilitated you are. I mean, whether it's a migraine or arthritis or, obviously anxiety and depression will keep you from doing what you want to do and drastically lower your quality of life. And that's one of the things about being on the right diet will do for people is it restores the quality of life. It gives you vigor, it gives you libido, it gives you an interest in doing things. It gives you the physical ability to do things. It gives you the mental capacity to plan to do things. It gives you that oomph to actually go out and get stuff done. So all the above for sure, and it's kind of interesting because your migraine issues aren't all that different than some of the complaints we see in the autistic community. People are very sensitive to sound, sights, smells, textures, the whole nine yards. So, they could, hair gel or something could easily trigger somebody and make it all, all but impossible for them to concentrate or participate in a conversation or, may actually cause them to melt down. So it's interesting to see when people's ability to tolerate those things drastically increases, and just kind of opens things up so that everything has to be less managed. I kind of always felt like I was always at odds with my environment because it couldn't be too loud, it couldn't be too bright. It couldn't. The texture of everything had to be within a certain amount of uh, tolerable sort of sensation or whatever. And if I was out in the sun too long, I would start getting sort of disoriented. I definitely sort of withdrawal, and it was very hard to interact with people if I was in the sun for a long period. So it was very hard to focus on work and stuff like that. It's like I don't know exactly what that is, but it seems to be gone now. So I know it's hot and sunny here in Southern California. The temperatures have been hovering to over 100 during the day, right? In fact, we've got a high heat advisory that goes on for a couple more hours or so, But I was out digging up sprinklers or digging up the sprinkler line to add sprinklers in broad daylight, no hat, no sunscreen, just sunglasses, and no shirt, just digging away and tolerating it nicely, which I could have never done in the past. And so I'm not, I don't know exactly what's going on. I think Tucker Goodrich presented some compelling evidence for it. Part of that being from the not tolerating the sun coming from not consuming too many seed oils, and I've cut seed oils out of my diet. So I noticed, the right away it improved digestion. So, but perhaps he was right about that, or perhaps we just didn't have enough of the right material for normal function or vitamin D production or whatever when we were on other diets. So yeah, definitely a higher quality of life, and I not only could I tolerate the heat, but the direct sunlight, which was a real problem for me in the past. So, and I didn't burn. I used to burn at the drop of a hat,
Yeah,
and
for those that can't see Tom, he's white. Just for the audience.
Yes, I'm a little bit on the tanner side today. I'm not white. I'm tannish white. The camera never really does justice, does it?
No.
Could never get the light perfect with it. And just using a webcam, so it's only so good. I probably look a little redder in the picture than I actually am, but anyways, yeah, so the quality of life is there. Things are changing. So you were telling me that you threw away your Emitrex, was it, right?
Yeah, so this might sound interesting. So for those that have migraines or have ever suffered with migraines, this will really strike a chord. So when you're on what's called the rescue medication, Imitrex or generic name sumatriptan, people take between 50 to 100 milligrams. Um, so because of the side effects of it and because of what it does to the brain, how it shrinks your what do you call it? Your blood vessels in your brain and tightens them. Um, Later in life, it can actually cause stroke and seizures. So, some people like me, I got diagnosed with migraines at age 20. And so, that's something that I would have had to go and take from age 20 to till death. There is no coming off of it in Western medicine. You don't come off your migraine medication.
We could kind of draw a parallel to type 2 diabetes. They typically say is a progressive disease. There's no cure. It just gets worse, and they just manage it with medication, try and slow it down, right? So here again, we see that changing your diet might very well provide a different outcome, right?
Right. And so because of the terrible side effects later in life, they limit each prescription to 9 doses a month. Every migrainer, every doctor limits you to 9 doses a month, because if you take over that, you're increasing your risk of stroke and seizures or other neurological conditions tenfold. And so they're, by law, I think by law, they're not allowed to give you more than that a month. So, but many migraineurs, I mean, you get 15, 16, 18, 20 migraines a month, you know? So on your good months, you hoard sumatriptan. You know, you hoard it, because for the bad months when you might, or you have what's called medication failure, where you will take it and it won't take the migraine away. So you have to double up. That also happens to many migraineurs. And if you only got 9 a month, it's like, well, do I want to, you know, then you got to look at your next coming week or the rest of the month, be like, do I have a special event coming up? Am I going to have to put in more hours at work? What's the weather going to be like? Do I want to suffer through this one and just take one, or take 2 now and save? It just becomes insane, all the planning that has to go into it. So you hoard. So you hoard as much sumatriptan as you can. So I'm happy to report that I haven't taken it for a year, but I still had, so I stopped picking it up from the store, I stopped filling my prescription about, I don't know, maybe 8 months ago. So I actually haven't filled my prescription, which was a big step for me. That was a big anxious step. And now I've taken the final step that, my hoarded sumatriptan, I just got rid of. Because I've gone over a year without taking it. And so the plan is for me to stay carnivore, stay with Angela's protocol, you know, maybe still work on histamine, whatever, but to never have to take that medication ever again. And it's anxious throwing that away, because now it's like, even if I needed it, I don't have access to it, you know? Yeah, I can probably.
And you achieved this not needing this medication for a year by drilling a hole in the top of your head, right?
Right, exactly. I don't know if you guys can see it. It's right on.
No, you actually changed your diet, right?
Correct. Yeah, it's through the carnivore diet.
And you've been doing it for how long now?
So I'm coming up on 16 months.
16 months.
16
so 16
months.
months. So let's say you haven't needed the sumatriptan for a year or a little over a year.
Right.
So 16 minus 12 is 4. So somewhere around 4 months in, your requirement for the rescue drug started tapering off pretty good, huh?
Right. So actually, when I went carnivore, I stopped taking it because you get what's called rebound headaches, and it messes with you if you take it anyway. So a part of Angelastatin's protocol, you have to stop taking it. And at the time I was taking it roughly once a week. But, you know, my backup was like herbs and stuff. So it's not that I went without anything. I don't want people to think that I'm, you know, some superhero or whatever. I did use herbs and stuff to take the pain away and the headaches. I also used kratom, if anyone's familiar with that, for them, and to get through the transition period of carnivore. So yeah, I don't know if that's called cheating, but I did use other things. It just wasn't medication. And it's still a tough time. You know, those that don't know my story, I was also suffering from a car wreck at the same time as well. So, I mean, I think I can give myself a little more leeway for turning to herbs and supplements and stuff like that in the beginning. So, yeah. So, but I swore off the sumatriptan. The last pill I actually took was actually July 5th. And that was because I was up north and I was out late and I wasn't getting sleep and I was all dysregulated, you know, trying to cook at my sister's house. And I was able to stay on diet, but I think I had like a few things off diet, you know? So I went like out to a club with my sister that night and came home and my head was killer, you know, and I was supposed to get up early to meet with another sister the next morning. So I decided to just pop one, but ever since then, that's the last one I've taken. I've had bad headaches, but the fact that I know, so we're talking like October. October is my absolute worst month of migraines, and that's actually the month that my migraine started. And I usually get like a 3-day migraine every October. But
Really?
this past October, yes,
It has
this
nothing to
past,
do with Halloween.
haha, no, even staying away from Halloween candy. Yeah, October is the absolute worst month for me for migraines. I don't know if it's for other people.
So,
Um,
well, so are you using much in the way of herbs and kratom or whatever right now?
so no kratom. I haven't touched kratom in geez, probably 8 or 9 months. None of the herbs for migraines, none of that. No, I've been completely off all that stuff for several months now. I mean, going on 7, 8, 9 months. Yeah. So it's been beef, salt, and water, and kidney, and I admitted to that from the histamine video that we have that we can link at the bottom, if you guys want to know more about that. But yeah, so it's been purely animal products, um, geez, for 8, 9 months, like I said.
All right.
So big anxious, another huge step is just getting rid of my hoarded medication. Just I believe in carnivore and I believe in what I'm doing so much that it's like it's like a universal statement. Like I'm not going to get a migraine so bad that I'm gonna need it. And I feel like if I even took it, because I always hated taking it. It's just your tongue gets numb, your wrists get weird, your stomach hurts. Like it's not fun to take it.
Mhm.
And so it's not like, morphine or something where it's like, ooh, you just like zone out, or a
It's not groovy.
Xanax. It's not groovy. No, it's just like just the side effects are horrible. Um,
It's not as boring as heroin.
no, not that boring. You don't just nod off, although you do kind of pass out or wish you would pass out. Um, but so I feel like if even at this point, going so long without taking it, if I did take it, I would probably get severely ill. Like it's probably not a good. My body probably wouldn't know what to do with it and would try. I'd probably, I don't know, vomit. I don't know. So it's probably just a better idea for me just to not take it anyway. So
Gotcha.
yeah, so just a couple updates.
Well, I'm kind of curious. Like, were you paying out of pocket for this medication?
It was through insurance, so just a copay. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's still something, right? How much were you spending on medications, even just through copay back in the day?
I mean, sumatriptan. So okay, you're gonna maybe talk more about this than I wanted to, but it's totally cool.
Well, I just want
Um,
to know:
the
are you
first,
saving a few bucks or what?
yeah, I'm saving a few bucks, but so when I first got diagnosed, I had this first medication called Maxalt, which is a sumatriptan type, which was a dissolvable that I would just rip it open and it would dissolve under my tongue and it would actually take away the migraine like every time. And it tasted like mint, like this funky mint. And that
Funky mint.
one I actually didn't have side effects to. And I was kind of cool that way in the beginning. Now I changed insurance and that stopped being covered. And it was going to be like $250 a month for that.
Ouch.
So then I went to the generic, just the regular pills of sumatriptan. And when I started taking those, I started to get severe stomach pains,
Mm.
like severe, like gastrointestinal issues. Like my head would stop hurting, but my stomach would, where I would take the sumatriptan and have to wash it down with Pepto Bismol so my stomach wouldn't hurt.
Damn.
Yeah, and then I thought, man, that's not good for me. So I went to doing like an aloe vera juice with it to calm my stomach. And sometimes that would work, sometimes it wouldn't.
By aloe vera juice, do you mean tequila?
I wish. I did drink a few times after taking the migraine medication too.
Oh yeah.
Did do that. You're not supposed to, obviously, but
Yeah.
I have done it. Well, I'd be at work suffering from a severe migraine, and on the drive to home to get charged, I promised friends we're gonna go out. We're gonna go out Saturday. It'd be a friend's birthday. We're gonna go hit the club, whatever. And I don't want to bail the last minute. My girlfriend's begging me to, go to the club. So what do? I take one of the one of them medications as I'm driving from work to home, and then just have my girlfriend drive to the club. And by the time we get to the club and get in, I feel better, so I'm able to drink. Like you do really off the wall crap like that when you're suffering with a chronic illness. I mean, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I get you. It's like you try to. We all know we shouldn't take medication and drink for the most part. They're mostly not compatible. But that happened to me too in the past too. It's like, oh, you're with somebody like, oh yeah, you got to try one of these, and then next thing you know, you're like, what is going on? Are those aliens? So yeah, all right. Well, it's good. I'm glad, man. I'm glad. I know it's probably hard to throw away that extra medication because you're used to like having that crutch in the corner just in case your leg starts hurting, So your little security blanket. So I hear you. Yeah, I kind of was the same way with the anxiety meds. It was like I hoarded them because there was never enough. Um, I know like this one I took was only a half a milligram, which was okay most of the time. And I only took it like as needed. I didn't take two a day like they say on the label. And still it wasn't enough, when the anxiety's running high. Uh, you're taking it, stuff comes up in life, and you're always afraid of running out. Like, oh man, what if, I got to go to court tomorrow or whatever, I'm late to work because traffic's bad or don't have money to pay a bill or whatever, got to go talk to somebody you can't stand talking to, whatever it is, there's always something, and you're always worried about that medication running out. It's nice not to have to worry about that anymore. So,
Yeah, it really is. And that's something I never hear really talked about is that extra stress about worrying about medication running out or organizing, medication. I mean, people talk about cost, obviously, but um, weighing side effects, hoarding pills. I think everyone with a chronic illness does these things, unfortunately. And it's no way to live. It's just so sad now looking back on it.
yeah, no, it's no way to live. And then of course, some medications are expensive. I know, like in my case, I could actually go to another country, which I shall not name, and I could buy American made name brand medication at a lower price per gram per milligram than I was getting with my copay through my insurer, and my insurer was giving me a generic made in India, right? So, when you're willing to go to another country to get your medication because you're getting a better deal, even better than your copay, then you're spending time, energy, and resources and worrying about stuff that you just don't have to once you don't need it anymore. So it's all around improved quality of life, and I think that's why you and I are so passionate about sharing the information, letting people know that changing your diet could tremendously affect your quality of life. And really, that's the bottom line, right? That's the ultimate result, is having a better quality of life.
Yeah, and I was having a discussion today with somebody that I'm quasi carnivore coaching, and he's a little upset that he's not, losing weight as quickly as he would want to. And I made the case to him that like carnivore, keto, whatever, low carb, these aren't weight loss diets. They're really not. at the end of the day. They're quality of life diets. They're getting your life back on diet, Um, and it's and so I ran with him, was like, so what he was doing before was like eating like 3 pounds of vegetables, and he noticed like his wrist was hurting and he's getting some arthritis and like irritability, and other people he was on the diet with were also like getting irritability and like stomach issues and all this stuff. And to his credit, he's been on Carnivore 6 going on 7 months now. And I was like, well, how are your wrists? Oh, it's way better. My energy's better. Like, just running down. It's like, okay, well, I get weight. Like a lot of people, when they think of diet, they go straight to weight loss. But it's
Sure.
like, I was like, you probably don't really have to change anything but stay carnivore, and the weight will come down most likely. If anything else, you're gonna want to do more stuff and just be more active, and that'll naturally, you know,
Well, and your food's more satisfying, so overall, people tend to eat fewer calories, right? So that
right,
helps. And then your blood sugar is nice and stable, and your insulin levels aren't skyrocketing all the time or staying high. You're not constantly releasing new doses or pulses of insulin, so you don't have that. You're not constantly in a state of anabolic state or inflammatory state.
right, and to me, like, I mean, I get it. I'm one of the few lucky people that's never had to struggle with weight. Not really,
I
you
hate you a
know.
little bit.
Right. So I get it. For it's easy for me to say that the weight's not a big deal, you know.
Yeah.
But to me, and you did struggle with weight, Tom. So maybe you can cover me in the comment section. Um, but it's like,
Send all your hate mail to Justin.
there you go. Um, the quality of life stuff to me is like, okay, even if I was overweight, if I'm overweight and my knees don't hurt versus being skinny maybe and with migraines and arthritis or
And this guy did
diabetes.
lose some pounds, right? He did.
Yeah, it's
He's not losing as much as he wants, as fast as he wants, right?
right,
Maybe
exactly.
plateaued.
Right. For
Yeah.
the time being, because
Time
as
being.
we've talked about before, the body seems to heal in cycles. It's not on your timetable, it's on your body's timetable. It's going to do it. And this diet does put in place the right mechanisms for healing and weight loss to occur. It's just going to have to be on your body's time, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. You can't be looking in the mirror and going, I'm still fat. I hate myself, when it's like, well, yeah, I feel better. I got more energy. My aches and pains went away, but damn it, I'm not skinny enough. What the hell? Fix it. What do I do? More clam juice. Whatever. More supplements. Yeah. Right. More Zumba. More. What was that? What was that other one? More jazzercise. Right.
Right.
That's
More
all you
Richard
need.
Simmons
More Richard
videos.
Simmons. All right, man. Well, I think we delivered the message. Look, it's about quality of life and fat loss. Most people, when they say they weight loss, they mean fat loss. And really, overall body composition is much more important. So if you're putting on muscle, you may very well not see the scale move, or even you may see it go up. But if your waist size is going down or whatever, you're probably losing body fat. So that's important. And it's not all about water loss. I see these comments all the time, like, oh, it was just water weight you lost. It's like, well, I didn't gain it back, and I'm not sure how I was carrying around 80 pounds of water, but perhaps it was just water. So that's one of the stupid things. I mean, you could say that about every diet, and there is some water loss, because when you go low carb, no carb, zero carb, whatever you want to call it, people typically retain less sodium and less water and all that stuff, but it's not 80 or 100 pounds worth. So
Right. And I just want to touch on one thing. there are several ways to lose weight. Several, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Um, but what is a way to lose weight and not be in pain, not have other chronic issues, and uh, be healthy and have the highest quality of life?
Yeah. Better quality of life trumps everything. You know, many results trumps just being skinny, you know, being super lean. So absolutely. And I think we got another video to do about that article. It's 6 science-backed reasons you shouldn't use the keto diet. Ooh, we're going to tear this one a new one. So we're going to get into more of that. So why don't we wrap this one up and we'll start afresh.
All right.
But I want to thank everybody for watching. I hope this helps people out there, people with migraines, people with arthritis, people with gastritis, people with any kind of itis. Consider changing your diet. Consider getting back some of that quality of life that you've lost over time. Don't let everybody tell you, oh, you're just getting older. You're just getting older. It happens to everybody, because a lot of that's just baloney. People have normalized being sick, and a lot of that has to do with just eating the wrong diet. There's probably a better diet out there for you, and changing your diet or changing what you eat doesn't necessarily have to be some giant painful struggle. Going on carnivore isn't that hard for most people. You know, just eating meat. I firmly believe we evolved to eat meat. We've been eating meat for at least 3.5 million years. It's not bad for you. It's a lot better for you than a lot of that food out there that they say, oh, it's got this vitamin in it, or it's got that. It's been enriched with plutonium. It's going to be great for you. So anyways, thank you for watching. Give us the old thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. It's more important than ever because YouTube's doing some weird new thing. We're taking subscribers away. Make sure you stay subscribed to channels that you want to follow, because you may have been accidentally unsubscribed. Leave us some comments. And even if you just want to harass Justin, we all do that sometimes. So we will see you soon, and eat more meat, feel better, and whatever you do,
Don't fall down the carb hole.